MTN Nigeria has appointed Onyinye Ikenna Emeka as general manager for its fixed broadband business. Onyinye is a business leader with over 23 years of experience in the telecommunications, logistics, and education sectors. Here's Carl Toriola, who's the chief executive officer of MTN Nigeria, expressing his confidence in her capabilities. He said, quote, "We are delighted to have Onyinye at the forefront of our broadband business and are confident that MTN will benefit immensely from her vast experience and deep understanding of the technology sector." So here she is. She joins us now to talk further about broadband. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you and congratulations on the new role.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So how would you describe the state of broadband connectivity in Nigeria right now?
I would, that question is quite interesting and it's a good way to start the conversation. I would say the state of broadband in Nigeria today is quite promising. I mean, when we look at where we were in 2012, where we just had about 6% penetration, to where we are today, as at the end of May, we had about 43.6% penetration. So that's quite a bit that has been done. And I think a lot of work is being done by the federal government. We really do commend the federal government and the Minister for Communications and the Digital Economy for the level of work and focus and attention that is being given to achieve the right levels of penetration from a broadband perspective. Definitely this, of course, is because of the fact that, broadband penetration is a precursor to driving and building the digital economy. So yes, I think we are making a lot of progress. And it will only continue to get better in line with the federal government's broadband plan.
Well, I think there's, as far as what's the prevalent type of connection? There's different types. I think broadband over power cables, digital subscriber lines, cable modems, fiber optic, fixed wireless, satellites, and so on. What's the, I guess, prevalent mode of broadband connection in Nigeria?
Okay, so for today, I mean, the digital subscriber line which you spoke to, which we like to call the DSL, is somewhat of the past. Today, what is most prevalent is the fixed wireless access.
Okay.
And that is a technology that has been adopted by all operators at this time, and that's what we continue to scale and accelerate in our drive to achieve broadband penetration. Second to that, I would say there's a lot of progress being made in fiber, fiber optics, and there's even a more conscious drive now, even from our own perspective as MTN, to achieve the right levels of fiber penetration across the country. So I would say that those two are the most prevalent technologies currently.
You gave us the stats already for connectivity. Compared to her peers, Nigeria lags South Africa. I think South Africa is at 113%. Egypt is 74%. We're trailing South Africa, we're trailing Egypt, we're trailing Kenya. How do we improve our numbers? Okay, so it is South Africa at 113, Egypt 74, Kenya is 48, Nigeria 43.6. So yeah, how do we improve that figure? How do we leapfrog our peers? How do you think it has to happen?
I believe the journey has started already, and how we're going to do that is to continue to collaborate. It requires collaboration between the private sector and the public sector. And thankfully, we are being provided with the right directioning by the federal government, which is why, like I said initially, there's quite a bit that they're doing in that regard. What do we plan to do? I think it's to continue to drive for penetration, not just in the urban areas, but also in the rural areas. And that is an area that MTN is very focused on, ensuring that we ultimately provide the right levels of connectivity, riding on the right technologies in those rural areas to ensure that we actually scale quite aggressively. The government's plan is to achieve 70% penetration by 2025 across the country. And that is something that we as MTN are very aligned with. And we're driving very aggressively.
How can broadband connectivity keep up with population growth? Because, that's something that just, how do you keep up? Populations get larger year on year. And this is a challenge that transportation sector follows. Everybody else has to keep up with that. But how?
I believe is to have a plan that speaks to continuity and continued acceleration and the ability to continue to grow and expand on technologies. And I think, again, Nigeria already is poised to do that. As you are aware, we're very shortly going to be launching the 5G technology. And so when you talk about having 3G, 4G, and 5G, as well as the fiber to the home services, it only just speaks to the ability to start to serve more of the market segments and more of the different sectors. So how can we achieve that? It's by continuing the acceleration and, working to the plan that has been developed by the federal government.
Okay, Lagos State has, I believe, the highest internet connectivity as far as the nation is concerned. Yeah, 17.8 million. You got Ogun in second place, Kano, Oyo. Outside of Lagos, how do you scale to other states that are not as connected as the commercial capital of the nation?
So scaling, a lot of times when this question is asked, the expected response would be that a telco would tell you that it's driven by the areas of benefit. But in the case of the journey that the government and the private sector are currently undertaking in terms of driving for broadband penetration, it's more about achieving that, which is to ensure that the less connected areas of the country are connected. And a lot has been done. Recently, we've gotten some sort of legislation around the right of way. So again, it speaks to the commitment of the government to ensure that even in the rural or less connected states, there is that drive to ensure connectivity. Now, one of the ways that as a telco we're driving for that is to ensure that we leverage on our mix of technologies. We do have access to the 3G, the 4G, and coming soon, the 5G. And we are going to, have a mix of those technologies and ride on that mix to deliver fit-for-purpose connectivity for our different segments of the market.
All right, maybe this next question, maybe I'm going too far ahead with this, but I just want to get you, I know, because, it's one step at a time. We're in Nigeria, let's not get too ahead, but we're kind of obsessed with tech on this show. What do you make of Meta and Starlink? So Meta is the Facebook, and then Starlink is the Elon Musk company. Yeah, using satellites to provide internet connectivity to Africa.
I think, I personally, I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's, it speaks to the localization of global trends or global digital transformation initiatives.
Yeah.
So, again, it's a welcome development because to achieve on the levels of penetration that we require, both at urban and rural levels, and with the right, and to drive for the right levels of partnerships and collaborations, we will be requiring a mix of technologies. And so it's also a welcome development, and we look forward to seeing how that plays out.
Fantastic stuff. Congratulations to you again on your new position as General Manager Fixed Broadband for MTN, and thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see how things work out.
Thank you very much.
All right.